Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the breakfast show, and it's a good break. After all, I was away last Friday. Do apologize for that one, but I have some personal matter to attend to, and we are back today for our breakfast show in here. And I do find that the market is turning slightly unfavorable, right, for the US side. Now we have to see whether that is going to be prevailing for the Malaysian side in here, and I do hope that, like many of you, had a good break last Friday, and we can turn our attention right now to the stock market. Let's take a look at what we have for you this morning in our breakfast show. Now that's right, now breakfast show, we use all the proprietary formula as well as the features of the SmartRobie, as you can see on top me in here. Definitely one first thing we want to put on is our KLCI, and if you rotate that will be a better chart, but if not, you just sort of switch to what we have. Let's switch to a bigger chart and a 1 month chart, and this is what's happening right now. The interest rate rise that we see last week, the 25 basis point, was a big surprise even to me, as I did a TikTok review on that one. You can check it out. It's a very short review in here. Let me know what you think of it. You can also join me at the TikTok handler trade_VSA. So you can see this market likely to be testing the old high, the 1440 in here, and we probably have to see how much of this is likelihood to be working in favorable for the market that we've seen so far in here. All right, so we have to see what's going to be likely to be happening, and we want to know that whether this can break the old high, the 1440 that we've seen in here. So let's take a look at this is the the TikTok handler. You can also follow me there in here, and also don't forget our VSA 360 new feature, insider buying inside. So today's sharing is that, of course, many of you do have known the KLCI has turned green pentagon, but the resistance definitely you'll be facing is the 1440. We shall look at it. Also check out the ST2 intraday and review some of the hot sectors we'll be talking about. And of course, our FA list, collection list, we will review some of the past that we have, and also depending on guided system that we have in here, that's pretty much drive where we have. All right, and of course, good morning, Kelvin, and good morning. Thank you for your support. So this morning, you can see the KLCI do have the 40-day moving average. You can see it did turn red pentagon, but of course, as I said before, the interest rate rise that we have last Friday, which does benefit a lot of the banking stocks, because we do know the KLCI are heavily weighted towards a banking stock. So anytime when we have interest rate rise, of course, that will penalize a lot of the home buyer like you and me. We borrow money from the bank, we have to pay more for the interest, and that will give a very nice net margin profit for this banking stock, and that's why we see the KLCI going. But going forward, very important, we also want to see the foreign funds coming in. We do have the last 2 days, foreign funds were buying the last 2 bars, but previously they were out for 2 weeks, and if that continue, right, the foreign fund continue to buy today, and I think it is, because you can look right now on top of my left hand side of the chart here. You can see the market is up 0.3% to 1434. Of course, we do know the old high is 1440. That's the one that it needs to break in here. But of course, the railway track already turned upwards, so we are looking for a higher KLCI. And of course, many people, unlike those of you who are following our SmartRobie show in here, may not notice this, right? Because they tend to follow the popular norm, they follow news, they follow certain influencer. But what's more important is to follow those the indicators that we have in our SmartRobie app, so you are at least in the leading indicator error in here. Now this is the FKLI KL futures that we do follow. As you can see, market definitely is looking lower low, but now it has to test the higher high. Okay, we are seeing previously in here again the same thing, 1440, the 200-day moving resistance, the 200-day resistance here, 1455. That's the big number that he has to break. It is still red pentagon, and of course, today if we do see a rally on the US side, then we're likely to see this market also turning up. Railway track is also turned upwards in here. So everything is pointing up, and this is how usually the market is. You can see we do have this let me just bring the two railway track on top of me here. You can see here moving up. So we have this so-called the 200 moving resistance, and I do think that eventually it will break up. The longer it is like being pulled down, and this is what we sometimes call bottom-up fishing. The market's likely to push higher here. So on our hot sectors, of course, this is one our regular review in here. The idea behind the hot sectors is looking what is trending now. We just need to hit one more time here. You can see the hot sectors. We have the telemedia, utilities, REITs, plantation, and consumer. I gotta admit, some of these stocks, I look at it, are really not hot. What we have seen right now is a sporadic of certain stocks that do well, not all the whole sector that you've seen, because as I said before, the KLCI is up. This is also due to the banking stock in here. You can type the banking stock, you can type finance, right? And if you look at finance, and again going back to it, finance is again only couple of stocks that we see they are really turning green Pentagon here. Public Bank, CIMB Bank, and also Maybank, I think, Maybank and Alliance Bank. So you can see many of the other banking financial sectors are really not moving in the area in here. And if they do, this is primary, but you can see from here, it just turned green Pentagon, Maybank on 3rd of May, and some of these banks really move very slow, but it is a good time if you like banking stocks and you do think that they do pay some sort of good dividend. That's something you want to look at. But do take note, the Malaysian banks in Malaysia are non-Sharia, especially many of our audience here are looking into a Sharia compliance. Good morning, Nora. Thank you for coming this morning in here. So let's take a look at the idea behind the hot sectors. Basically, we usually sort this out by okay, this is a bit, yeah, it's sort of, it's a bit of jammy here. So you can see from here, it's sorted out by Pentagon Guider. The latest Pentagon, either green or red, is stated on top on the so-called left-hand side of the chart here. And generally what we want to look for, if you look here, looking at the second and third, I've checked out some of these are generally more of a longer term, especially the REITs. You can look at REITs. These are, okay, REITs, you can see some of them already turned green Pentagon right at the bottom, right? And they're very slow moving, I gotta admit. Atrium, Emphas, Hector, Pavilion, all this. So you can really check it out when you have free time and take a look at some of those stocks. But generally, we all know REITs, real estate investment trusts, do pay very generous dividend, and that's some reason why I want to have exposure on the property due to the reopening of the economy. And of course, let's look at some of our Robie Trade FA idea stocks. You can see going back to 3rd of March, 3rd of April, 10th of April, Heineken, and also 17th of April. Cycom, you can see it's up 6.4% in here. A nice follow through. And again, remember at that time, the KLCI was still red Pentagon, right? Just only 4 days ago, it turned green Pentagon. So Cycom has moved up nicely in here. Unchanged is KM Long, which is a plantation. You can see on the 3rd of March here. Then next stop. Okay, IOI property, IOI plantation. This is IOI plantation, also unchanged. You can see 3rd of March, the plantation stocks not moving much. We do have Heineken doing pretty better on the 10th of April, which is when we first started to go up in here. Unchanged is SK Press, which is again one of those industrial products. Did turn red Pentagon in here, but be careful of the ATR stop loss at 120. Should it break it, that's a time to chabot lah. Just like Focus SP did turn green Pentagon when we were looking for the 17th of April. We can see this was right here, but turned red Pentagon, and since then broke through the support, broke through the ATR stop loss here. You can see it's closing there. So that's the one that you should exit in here to avoid any further downturn. No doubt Focus SP, it does pay a decent, I believe it's a decent dividend. Okay, let's go to Focus SP. It's a food and beverage, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go to the fundamental FA here. 5 out of 8, P of 9 with the ROE 25 and pay 2.78%. It's a small cap stock, around 355 million in here, right? So take note that these small cap stocks can really swing up and down. Surprisingly, the second largest shareholder is PNB, right? Interesting. All right, the floating shares is only 30%. Generally, you want to have a higher floating, then that would not affect so much of the price coming down in here. All right. Of course, you can also subscribe to our daily newsletter. If you have not go to, that's a QR code, or you can go up to our website and to get some of the news that I generally go through every morning. And of course, this morning, let's take a look at the Robie FA list in here. The list I'm going to share with you is something from last week. Today it's just Sime Plantation, not very exciting. It's highly priced at 444. So there are two here. This SK Press is not the stocks or stock going to talk about. Let me just see what I have here. No, it's let me just make an amendment here. It's Pentec. Okay, so it's Pentec. Excuse me for the typo error in here. So we got Pentec and BJ Food. All right. First of all, let's take a look at the BJ Food in here. This is this is Focus SP. Where did my BJ Food go to? Okay. I think I got the arrangement. Okay, now we can check it out from the chart itself. So let me just take this out and fix it. Just go to BJ Food. All right, you can see BJ Food and look at the chart here. All right, this is the BJ Food, and we'll look at the chart here. You can see very low risk to reward. You can see the market has really fallen a lot in here. Swing to a 1 month chart, you can see it did have the Green Pentagon, but this morning also down 1.7%. So just be a bit careful if you want to take up this stock. From a risk to reward, this one looks pretty good, but it will take some time for this market to move up in here. All right, so take that one. But of course, I'm going to screenshot this chart that you see, and next week when we come back and review this on next Monday, we also see how much this market goes. So right now, a lot of heavy pressure to so-called selling this morning in here. But if you look, just swing up to the rotation, you can see if you rotate up, you can see a much better chart than what we have here. So that's one of the ability to. So let's check out the FA stocks for BJ Food, which is a Berjaya Food here. You have the 6 out of 8 with the P of 12 times, and the ROE is 25, pretty good, right? Dividend of 3% in here, 1.7, so it's a large cap stock in here. All right, so take note, Berjaya of course is the biggest shareholder in here. Okay, next one is so we're going to go to the next one here is Pentec. Okay, so next one is Pentec. Let's take a look at Pentec right now. Pentec is where we have it. There's the Green Pentagon, right? So let's look at Pentec and look at the hit the stock fundamentals here. So you can see stock fundamental from Pentec is 6 out of 8 with the very low PE of 5 times, actually very low PE. Well, the averages is 24 times. Market cap is 6, so it's a mid cap stock around 660 million, paying 5% dividend with a ROE of 14 times. All right, so not too bad. Okay, you can see that target price of 1 ringgit in here. So it did hit the low of the 77 cent there. All right, so the market rebounded back. So this morning is almostly unchanged. Let's take a look at the chart again. Stock chart, stock comment here. Yeah, it's still holding up the base there at unchanged level in here. Okay, so almost at 1030 in here. So that's the market that we've seen so far, relatively unchanged. All right, and let's move on to our next chart that we have is the hot sector. That's right, the hot sectors here. So we have we have looking some of the charts, so we decided to do with the first one, which is the first item in our hot sector here. Right, hot sector first item is telemedia. So we look at Star. Some of them actually move up in here. You can see time.com media, right? Star has gone up a lot actually. Let's take a look at Star here previously. So we hit Star, we hit the stock chart, stock comment, and see how much it has gone up. You can see now has turned red pentagon, so you want to be careful. This is because I think there was some news of a big tycoon buying up Star Paper. That's why we saw this share really move up. But now that it says red pentagon in here, this is something not for the average beginner to trade. It's going to be rather volatile in here. Axiata, we can check out Axiata next in the list here. Also just turned green pentagon on 5th of May. Okay, let me just go down to the stock chart, stock comment here. You can see just turned green pentagon in here. Just you got a couple of resistance on top of that, so just be careful for that one. All right. So let's move on to our summary in here. Thank you for your audience, fellow members and fellow public in here. The KLCI, remember, it started to move up in stage 2, but will it continue, right? We do see foreign fund trickling in here. That 1440 yet to be tested. So we do have this week to test it out in here. If US were to break it, definitely we're going to be testing it. But of course, for the beginner, check out the Robie FA list. And for those of you who are more advanced, you want to use the stage 2 intraday shares in here. So overall, SmartRobie does give you the benefit of both sides. Now remember, the green pentagon is just up 4 bars. Okay, usually we have about 18 to 20 bars, so a little bit more opportunity for the KLCI to move higher, and that's why I think it will test the 1440. All right, and so far, and also tomorrow evening we'll have our Zoom meeting every Tuesday. For those of you who are VSA premium members in here, make sure you attend that, as we will review some of the items that we have in our list in here. All right, so check out our newsletter in here, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel in here for more of the educational material, as well as our TikTok handler in here to spice up things a bit. And if you're ready, can always get hold of our new feature of our VSA 360 in here, with people giving it great review on and on again. Thank you again in here. And we also look at the overall. Now there was a question here from Kevin Sim in general about my view about 5G. Usually I don't pay attention so much on this one, because the reason is, if you look at it in terms of growth, these 5G's company, right, not going to give you the kind of growth that we will see in here, right? Because if you look at in terms of holding up a level, where you have some sort of dividend payment, then I would look at the telcos. Generally, telcos, from price gain, you're not going to get much of the things in here. There's a lot of buzzword. I've been, really investing in if you're looking for dividend, these 5G's company, I think it generally are good. All right. If not, you wouldn't get the Celcom and also Celcom and DG merging. They are really struggling to expand their market. Right, if you notice in the past, they went up to the so-called India and do so, and they did very badly in there. So that's what now they're trying to, look at the next growth, which is a 5G, and I think that it may be overrated. So I will still focus more on the so-called technology stocks, where we see a much straightforward growth than that one. So that's my view on the 5G network in here. I wouldn't pay attention unless my goal on those are generally for dividend. All right, so I hope I answer you, Kevin in here. All right, if you're looking for good dividend, maybe you can check out the hot sectors, look at some of the charts with a good FA, then that's the one you want to be targeting. All right, that's all I have for this morning in here. Thank you for coming, and don't forget to join our Telegram or share that with your friends for all information. I'll be back on Wednesday for our talk, and of course, those of you who are members, do join us tomorrow night at 8:30 for our monthly orientation. Thank you for coming, and good morning to all of you. Have a nice day.